Okay, thank you everybody for coming and seeing my presentation. Tonight I'm going to be telling the story of The Tale of Three Brothers. It was written by J.K. Rowling and it's featured in The Tales of Beetle the Bard. I chose the story mostly for the audience because I have a lot of adults who are into Harry Potter culture, so I thought that it would be a nice amalgamation of kids and adults because it's not too long that the children will get too distracted, but it's also not too short or boring. So without further ado, this is The Tale of the Three Brothers. There were once three brothers who were journeying down a long, windy road. The three brothers came across a wide river. It was too deep to wade through and too treacherous to swim across. But the brothers were learned in the magical arts, and they waved their wands and conjured a bridge to cross the river. When the brothers were halfway across the bridge, they encountered a hooded figure. Death spoke to them. He was angry that the brothers had cheated him out of 3 more lives to take in the river. But Death was cunning. Thank you, Evelyn. Death was cunning, and he pretended to praise the brothers for their triumph over him, and he presented them all with a prize for each brother. The oldest brother was a combative man, and he asked Death for a wand that would always win duels for its master. Death walked over to the elder tree on the bank of the river and fashioned a wand out of a branch and presented it to the eldest brother. The second brother was a devious man. He wanted to humiliate Death further, and he asked for a stone that could conjure the dead back to life. So again, Death crossed over to the river bank, picked up a stone, and handed it to the second brother, and told him that it would recall the dead back to life. The youngest brother, he was the most humble and wisest of the 3. He didn't trust Death. No. He asked Death instead for something that would enable him to go forth in life and never be followed by death again. Very unwillingly, Death unholstered his own cloak of invisibility and presented it to the youngest brother. The 3 brothers were joyous that they had triumphed over Death and went on with their journey. Before long, each one separated from the others and went on their own journey by themselves. The oldest brother went on to the next town, to where he met up with a man where he had a quarrel with him. He challenged him to a duel, and with the elder wand, he was ensured to win the duel, and left that man dead in the street. Later that night, he goes to the inn in the town and boasts about how he had the most powerful wand in the world, and it would always win the duels over any combatant for its master. That night, in a drunken stupor, the oldest brother passes out, and a thief comes into his room and steals the elder wand from him, but slits his throat for good measure. And Death takes the oldest brother for his own. The second brother journeyed on his way home. When he got back home, he turned the stone over 3 times in his hand, and to his amazement and to his joy, the image of a woman, long dead, that he was to marry, appeared to him, and he was joyous at her return, but she was cold and distant. And every day he watched her suffer more, and with her suffering he suffered too, until one day in his own madness, he killed himself to be with her forevermore. And Death took the second brother for his own. Death searched far and wide for the youngest brother, but he couldn't find him. Years and years went by, and it wasn't until he had attained a great age and a family of his own that the youngest brother removed his invisibility cloak, gave it to his son, and greeted death as if a long-lost friend. And together, they both departed this world as equals. Thank you, guys.